Hey guys, it's Tarot and Beyond. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Usually here on the channel we do pick a card readings, but Spirit actually called me to sit down and deliver a channeled message today. And if it's your first time here, hi, my name is Siobhan. I'm a professional psychic medium, Akashic reader, Reiki master, energy healer, and tarot and oracle card reader and teacher. So the message that we're going to talk about today is he's coming. Those of you who are drawn to this video, you are activating your twin flame union. Now, this is kind of a little bit of a triggering topic to me, I'm not going to lie, because I started my YouTube career in 2017 as To Kitty and Beyond, and I did primarily twin flame readings, and that was it. I did twin flame tarot readings, and that was what I was about. It was because that was the year that I awakened and I got launched onto the twin flame journey and into spirituality and started reading up on all of these different topics and learning them. And I started experiencing and awakening my gifts, etc. And then I got really jaded to the whole idea of twin flames. Now, the reason I'm telling you this backstory is because there's context to the message that's coming through around he's coming. So just bear with me. I lost faith. I lost hope in this whole twin flame idea, and what's actually popping into my mind clairvoyantly right now is the movie on Netflix about twin flames. I haven't actually seen that, but Spirit is referencing that right now, so I feel like I need to go watch that, or there's going to be some kind of context there. Maybe some of you have watched it and there's some kind of a pattern here that we're meant to be aware of. But essentially, I realized that who I thought was my twin flame was presumably a karmic, and it was very narcissistic. It was empath-narcissist dynamic, and it was really dysfunctional and painful for me. The reason I'm sharing this with you is because the message of he's coming needs to be put in context. I don't want this to be fluff that promotes dysfunctional relationships and distorts the actual purity of the hierogamic union, which is the real term for twin flame union. It's hierogamic union. And this is the inner merging of masculine and feminine polarity. It's not romantic in nature, although there can be that aspect to it. It is an internal process of unification. It is extremely powerful, very sensitive, and should not be done by anybody simply seeking romance. So this is why I want to preface this channeled message that's been coming through and that I'm going to share with you today with this information, because I think we need to be more careful in the spiritual community and in the online community what we are feeding into around love and distorted romantic relationships. That being said, let's get to the actual message. What Spirit's been bringing through is he's coming. They've been showing me and walking me personally through the process of doing this inner union and what that actually looks like, what it feels like, what the steps I needed to take were. There was a lot of past life work, and there was stuff around the fall of Atlantis specifically, where the ripped, actually, I meant to say rift, but it was a rip in the soul where the two aspects of the soul were pulled apart. And we disconnect from that higher aspect of ourself. And then as a reflection of that, we disconnect from the divine counterpart, if there is a divine counterpart embodied. If not, then it's a purely internal process, but it still hurts just as much. We're going through a collective process right now of reintegration, reunification within the self. They've also been showing me things about building out the light body. And basically, it's like a rehabilitation process in several stages of expanding the light body and being able to hold these higher and higher and higher dimensional frequencies and sustain and modulate that at a high level. That is also what is allowing this process to take place. And they keep telling me he's coming because there's some kind of a magnetic attraction. So when the divine feminine gets into her pure polarity and builds out the light body, she sends out like this pulse is what they're showing me. And the same thing happens with the divine masculine because it's two counterparts, two sides of the same soul. So if one side of the soul is doing it, the other side of the soul is going to do it as well. If that's not happening, that can be a sign that it's not the actual true twin flame relationship. It's some kind of a soulmate or karmic situation, which doesn't have to be good or bad. It's just different. And in this process of reunification and building out of the light body, this pulse goes out at this certain point where there's an activation of the pure magnetic polarity in the feminine and the pure electrical polarity in the masculine. And of course, as polarities tend to do when they're fully activated like that, and all of the things are cleared out that were impeding or imposing themselves in between this connection and preventing the connection from occurring, it will attract back together. It's just like magnets. But this whole process of getting the polarities back into alignment and building the light body to be able to sustain that and holding those frequencies in the inner union through the Merkaba field was really an intense process, is a very intense process. And what they're showing me is that there's a collective shift going on right now. There's a timeline that we've entered into, or there's some kind of an event that has occurred or is occurring now where a large number of twin flames are going to be coming together. And this is going to significantly shift the distorted timelines that we were previously anchored to as lightworkers and as highly evolved spiritual beings. Those of us who were volunteers, starseeds, indigos, any other label that you want to place on it, it doesn't really matter what it's called. It's a volunteer soul that incarnates into the earth realm to help ascend and evolve the planet through love, through compassion, through all of these higher vibrational embodiments that connect to the law of one principles, unity. So this is happening now, is basically what they're telling me. This is happening now. And so if you are on this path, you've probably been going through some pretty intense purging, reintegrations, and expansions of your light body. And the physical body is a side of that as well. There's DNA integrations and upgrades that are going on along with this. And there's something about the solar activity that they've been showing me, especially over the past couple of days or weeks. They've been really emphasizing something about the diamond sun light body that has been activated and is continuing to build out these higher frequencies of the light body and anchor these new timelines of heaven on earth. They've been telling me that for a while now, heaven on earth. And this was a synchronicity that came up again today. So it feels especially correlated to this message of he's coming. I think the other side of he's coming is the Christ consciousness. It's like the return of the Christ. It is the second coming, but it's not a physical embodiment of Jesus or a physical embodiment of the Christ. It is an internal, individual, subjective embodiment of the Christ energy through many, many collective souls. Many of these high-level spiritual souls who have chosen to come in to this density and to embody this for the specific purpose of shifting the distorted timelines within the earth field that have kept a lot of souls trapped in fear, in separation, in panic, in suffering, in pain, in lack. All of these distorted experiences that were actually imposed upon the people of the earth. And those of us who are here embodying this twin flame journey are high-level souls assigned specifically and who volunteered to be able to shift and help to do this cleanup mission, to rescue the souls that are needing rescuing, to expand the collective mindset, to shift the polarities and therefore the timelines that are being available or made available, clearing the density in the grid networks of the physical earth and the energetic earth, helping to reopen and rehabilitate certain Stargate portals, and being able to assist those who are on the potential awakening path to be able to get there as well. This phase of the ascension, because that's essentially what twin flames are, it is an ascension process. This phase of the ascension is coming to a head. It is coming to a point of reunification, and it is going to be extremely powerful. Now, I don't know exactly when this is going to happen, and I think that it will vary from person to person, because when we're thinking about timelines, human-wise, we think about it in terms of linear time, but that's not how time works. And so when it comes to timelines, it's not a line. It's like a reality bubble of existence that's shared collectively in some way, and there's shifting of the vibrational frequency within a large enough group of souls to be able to tip the scales, and through that inertia entrain a certain other level of the collective to come along for the ride, essentially. So the reason Spirit called me to share this message is that if you've been drawn to this video, if you've been attracted to this information, you are on this path. Again, I don't know which stage of the game you're at, but suffice it to say that this process is going on, and we're involved in it. So what do we do now, and what do we need to do to assist this in its full evolvement? Basically, just continue to embody the principles of the divine polarity that we represent. So aligning with that polarity and balancing out the opposite within us as well. So if I'm a divine feminine, obviously I need to be working on both my divine feminine and my divine masculine energy within myself. Loving unconditionally, I think this goes without saying for most of you who are on the twin flame journey, truly the spiritual one, you already know these principles of self-reclamation. Soul fragmentation work is also something that I was mentioning earlier, and that could be something that is continuing or will continue over this period as well. So soul fragmentation is parts of the soul that are trapped, frozen, stuck, or otherwise immobilized in timelines or dimensions separate from the full embodiment of the self and need to be reclaimed through healing of the rift or that caused that, which is usually some kind of trauma. So reintegration work on all of the multiple levels, subconscious, conscious, and higher dimensional, are all advised. Energetic clearing, specifically using frequencies. Spirit has also been guiding me personally to subliminals. So using subliminals either that I've created or that Spirit directs me to. Using specific frequencies can be helpful for this process as well, specifically 999 hertz, 512 hertz, and 432 hertz. Those ones are kind of like the recommended ones that I've been getting a lot lately from Spirit to shift the frequency of the auric field and to help the light body to build out and the physical body to embody that through the DNA. We've talked about some of these more like personal steps that we can do to prepare, but I'm going to let Spirit come in now and kind of give some guidance to us, because I'm here needing guidance as well on this process and what we need to do to prepare specifically. So thank you, Spirit, for letting us know. To prepare, be open to the evolving changes that unfold before you. If you are called to shift directions at a moment's notice, we advise that you feel into this call and heed it as needed. Being open to certain locations that you feel called, presenting yourself in those locations may be significant to anchor the energy into a particular area within the grid and to facilitate the attraction of the polar opposite. Be open to shifting and clearing out debris from your auric field and from your physical reality. Things in the home may need to be released as a symbolic gesture of purging, release, and surrender to this process. An overhaul of the mindset around communication. Communication with the self is advised. Communicate with the polar opposite through the self telepathically within the self. In the mental realm, there is no separation. In the heart space, there is no separation. In the blindness, you will see. In the darkness, there shall be light. Prepare now. Through the awareness of this message that we bring you today, be open to the unfolding process in whichever form it takes. Trust unconditionally and accept your path for what it is. Each step of the way is meaningful. Have patience, dear ones, and prosper in the knowing that all will be well and your homecoming is awaited with great joy. Okay, so that is, I think, what's needing to be said here, because my mind is starting to like shut down. So I think that's it. I'm tapped out, so I'm going to go rest. But that's the message, and I hope that this message finds its way into the hands, maybe even quite literally, of the people who really need it. So if that's you, I'm glad that this message found you. I'm sending you so much love for this process, for this journey, for this mission. From my heart to yours, blessed be homecoming. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you in the next reading.